Ready.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ladies Power Launch. I have here with me my very dear friend. You hear me say this all the time, my very dear friend. And guess what? Every single time, it's the absolute 100% truth. And today is no exception. Lori is beat of my heart, true, dear friend. And she's here to share with us her take on this whole idea of leadership. Now, why do you want to hear from Lori? Lori's coming from this corporate background, which is very relatable for a lot of us who are also coming from this corporate background, where we have had this nightmare of, this history of this top-down leadership. And we're now being invited to lean into a new type of leadership, which invites us to embrace the idea that you're a leader and you're a leader, and that we're all leaders in our own right. If you are the kind of person who is uplifting others, then you are indeed a leader. If you're a teacher, if you're a healer, if you're a coach, you're a leader. And all we need to do is link arms together with each other, support each other as we support the people that we're here to serve. And so Lori's going to give us her take on what this whole idea of collaborative leadership looks like. And I can't wait to hear from Lori. But for those of you who don't know Lori yet, and who don't love Lori as much as I do, which I don't know where you have been. Hey, Lori, will you please introduce yourself to the folks? Will you say who you are and explain to them the wonderful, amazing things that you've been doing in the world?
Yes, Divya, thank you so much. Yes, my name is Lori Raggio. I am a transformational leadership and life coach. Predominantly work with women, leaders and entrepreneurs, but I work with organizations as well. And I think my key focus with all of them is to help them to find the passion and what they're doing, so that what they're doing is actually aligned with their heart and soul's calling. So bringing some of that into individual conversations, group, team, and even organizational and leadership training. So talk about bringing soul and spirit and passion really into our work, and how that supports us in being better leaders.
So Lori, who's the kind of person who does the best working with you? People call it your ideal client or whatever, but the people who they're losing sleep at night because they need to work with you, who are those people?
Yeah. They're predominantly women who are in various transitions in their life. It could be they're looking at a different job because they no longer feel kind of like sparked by what they're doing, or they don't feel like they're making enough impact. It could be women who are in relationships, personal and professional relationships, that just aren't quite fulfilling them, and they know that there's something more. They can be women who are really at a certain age where they're looking at transitioning from corporate to entrepreneurship, or they're transitioning from corporate to retirement. Those tend to be the kind of coaching clients that I thrive supporting. They're people who are just looking for that next more personal fulfillment, and maybe they don't even know where to look. Most of the time they're looking externally instead of initially looking internally. So I support them in trying to find out, what is that next best step.
And then when they actually do the work with you, generally, what's the kind of outcome that they find?
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking of kind of some of my current clients. And I know I've mentioned a few of them, not by name, but on some of our other conversations, but they leave their current role and find that next role that really just is aligned with who they are and what they're looking for in their life. They take solo trips around the world, that helps them really to get in touch with who they truly are. And then they bring that experience back and infuse that into what they're currently doing in all of their relationships. They find their soulmates, and, start a family. I've had clients who, are at that point of retiring, and during those conversations, find out what it is that they really want to do. And in the process, it includes a geographical move to support, where they feel the most comfortable. So it's learning more about themselves and what really makes them tick, and then taking those next steps to fulfill that, so that they can be the best person that they can be in a world where they want to make some huge impacts.
Awesome. A lot of the conversation that you and I have had have been around, certainly with you being a transformational coach and me needing a lot of transformation. I mean, you've seen me, you've met me. It's been around finding the place in the world that's just that place that lights you up, that place where when you're in that location, that geographical location where you just shine and you are in flow. And for me, apparently, it seems to be the more southern part of Connecticut, the seashore of Connecticut. So I don't currently live there, but I do live in Connecticut, and I'm really making an effort to go down to the shoreline a little bit more and kind of taking in that water energy more than I used to. And I have found that it is, by infusing that water energy into my life, it's really making my life have a little bit more flow than it did before. So it does make a difference. It seems so like really unusual, but it does make a difference. So thank you for sharing that information with us. Thank you so much.
Some of the other things that I've really been looking at, Divya, is, what does it take for all of us to be the leader that the world needs now? And that is probably at the foundation of most of my work with my clients. And as I've looked at that and kind of reviewed, what are they doing? What are the characteristics? I've come up with like 8 characteristics that I think really do make us that leader, whether we're in corporate, whether we're an entrepreneur. But it's being authentic, it's being aligned, it's being bold. And bold is brilliant, original, legendary, and daring.
Ooh.
It's being collaborative, creative, visible, vulnerable, and then well. And under well, I have physically, emotionally, fiscally, spiritually, and then geographically. And I think what the world is asking of all of us now as leaders is to be that whole person. And so I think these 8 characteristics really help us to be able to show up as that whole leader. And so as I work with different clients, there's certain tools, that I bring to it to kind of help them identify, which of these 8 characteristics are really, really their strengths, and which other ones might be, areas for some opportunities.
So how are you helping clients to really lean into being the sort of leader that the world needs now? Because one, whether we want to admit it or not, I mean, I was one of those people who shied away from even considering that I might be a leader, but whether we want to admit it or not, we just have to take on that mantle of leadership, we are in that
Yeah.
leadership role, forget about sidelining ourselves. If we're
Right.
supporting others, then guys, that's leadership. That's what it's all about. And then
Yeah.
how are you helping your clients to be that leader?
Yeah, some of it is through, some of my experience has been in learning how to use different assessment tools. So sometimes I'll bring assessments into it. There's one in particular, it's called What Motivates Me. And it takes a look at, what are your primary motivators in your work? And then looking at your current work and how many of those motivators are actually present. And the whole idea behind that is that the more motivators that are present in our work that are aligned with us specifically, the more productive and happy we're going to be in what we're doing. And so that's an example. I know some people in our LPL community have talked to me about the essence conversation. That's another one, helping people to understand, what does it mean to be in their comfort zone, outside of their comfort zone, and then coming up with 5 words that kind of characterize who they truly are and who they are as a leader. So some of it's bringing those kind of tools. It's taking a look at where do people feel the most energetic in what they do, and are they spending more of their time in those places where they feel the strongest, most powerful, potent energy, or aren't they? And if they're not, can they look at possibly moving some of their time and energy to doing that thing that really, again, kind of lights them up, not only where they're doing it, but what they're doing. So those are some examples of some of the things that I help people take a look at. And then obviously have to follow through and have to have some action in order, to create, this life that we desire and that we deserve.
Well, if we are going to be leaning into leadership from
Yeah.
this new paradigm, but truly, I don't think it's really all that new.
No.
I think it's the old paradigm.
Yeah.
It's just kind of gotten sidelined a little bit. But
Yes.
if we're going to start adopting this paradigm once more of collaborative leadership, what are some of the do's and don'ts that you would recommend that we start adopting once more?
Yeah. Some of it, I think, is mindset. So as I think of leadership, it's not a solo journey. Leadership is not a solo journey.
Yes,
But
yes.
I certainly know in my corporate role, I thought I could do things better. And so I did a lot of things better and faster as an individual. Well, that doesn't always support the teams that we work with or that work with us. So I think some of it is thinking about, who are the people, who are the community, who is the network that we need to be that leader. Is it our staff? Is it our virtual VAs? Is it our LPL, community members? Like who is that network in that community that can support us? Because again, it's not a solo journey. Some of it is, realizing what do we need to support our own businesses. And so what are those things that we don't do well, and that there's plenty of people out there who are experts in doing, and let's join with those individuals so that we can create these businesses, that we love and that are successful. So I think part of it's thinking about, where are we spending time that maybe we don't need to spend time because we're not an expert and we don't even perhaps like that piece of our business, and looking to see who else is out there that can support us.
I love both of those things. I love the piece that you talk about looking for where are your people. It feels to me almost as though you're talking about the principles of Grow Smarter, because
Yeah.
one of the key principles of Grow Smarter is, looking for the right people to be a part of your community. And I
Yeah.
tell people all the time, every single thing that you need is right here inside of the Ladies Power Lunch
Mhm.
community. Whether it is that the person that you need to provide the service is here
Mhm.
in the community with us, or they know somebody who can provide that
Yes.
service, one of those two things, but it's
Yeah.
right here. And then the other thing is that you don't want to I know this from firsthand experience, and I always tell people, learn from my horrible experience. Please learn from my horrible experience. You don't want to be doing things that you're not good at. I remember
Right.
one time, and it's not one time, it's many times. I remember one time I was talking to one of our friends, and I was saying to her, okay, so we're going to do this collaboration and I'll build the website because I did a weekend course and I know how to build websites. Sigh. And then something
Right.
said to me, and I'm sure it was the voice of God, said to me, why don't you go look at this girl's website? So I go over and I look at her website. Beautiful thing of beauty. Something said, ask her who built her website. She built her website.
Right.
And
Right.
she also is amazing at building websites. Why was I the one who was going to be
Right.
doing the website in this collaboration?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
just how often are we doing the things that do not light us up, do not bring us joy, that are not in our zone of genius or brilliance? I love that you bring up both those things. So if
Yeah.
you were to
Mhm.
give us a homework assignment, if you were to give us one thing to take away from today's conversation, to go do this thing and report back, what would that thing be?
I would actually take a week, have something to write on with you, maybe like a little pad of paper, and actually just note how many times in what you're doing during the day that truly lights you up. What is it and how many times during that day? And then at the end of the week, take a look at, are you spending the time doing the things that you really love?
Wow. That's going to be pretty enlightening. That's going to be pretty enlightening. And I'm already thinking to myself, huh.
Well, I think I'm at a point in my life right now where I'm really, to me, it used to be selfish, but I don't believe this anymore at all. But if I'm not spending that time, the majority of my time doing things that I'm passionate about and that light me up, why am I not doing that? Life is too short. And I'm only going to bring my best self to the things that I'm interested in and that I love and that I enjoy. And if that's how I'm showing up, then people are going to get the benefit of that. They're going to be impacted by that. And so, but I think still there's so many times where we're still doing things because someone else thinks we should, or we've been told that we should, or we think we should, or we have to. And so it's like, just even to take a look at that for a week, I think is pretty enlightening.
I think that's great. And I think even some of the things that we might not be able to take off of our list, there might be an opportunity to look at the energy that we're bringing to those.
Right. Like, how are we coming into that situation?
Like folding laundry.
Like, I when I walked my dogs this morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got 10 million things on my mind. I've got something to come right back to. And I'm not a very nice person walking my dogs when I'm like that. And I'm like, this is crazy. They only get out a couple times a day. That's not helping them. So again, can I not choose not to walk them? No, because I have to walk them. Yeah, but yes, what kind of energy and what's my mindset and, yeah.
I love that. That's wonderful. So, Lori, it's Free
Yes.
Gift Friday, as it
Yes.
is every single Friday since we've been back to Free Gift Friday. And
Yes.
we at Ladies Power Lunch have a free gift to give to every single person who tunes in to our show, just to say
Yes.
thank you for tuning in. We want to say thank you. We want to invite you, if you are watching our show on our YouTube channel, if you're tuning in on our podcast, if you are somehow tuning in on our Facebook group, wherever you happen to be watching us or listening to us, want to say thank you so much. And to say thank you, want to give you a gift. Just go to growsmarter.com/bundle. Yeah, I hope I got that link right. Grow Smarter Not Harder/bundle. And there's a free gift waiting for you. And it's a wonderful gift because there are 16 gifts for you to choose from. So you will find something there that is going to be beneficial for you. But wait, it's just like a midnight infomercial. There's more.
There's more.
Lori has a gift for you also. Lori.
Yes, I would love to gift anyone who is interested in taking a look at those 8 characteristics that I mentioned. And in a conversation, take a look at which ones are present for you that you feel are going well for you, and if any of them provide you opportunities. So, way to look at these 8 characteristics and decide if there is a next best step for you. And the best way to access that is by shooting me an email at lori@inspiregreatnesscoaching.com.
So we're going to choose a winner for that free gift
Okay.
today. And I would invite you, Lori, if you would choose a number between 1 and 20, we would choose somebody who's actually watching along with us live.
7.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And wouldn't you just know, my dear friend, I have so many dear friends in this group. Leslie Goldmack-Patton. She is a very, very, very wonderful member of our Ladies Power Lunch group. She is an attorney. I love her because, sometimes when I think attorney, I don't necessarily think caring in the same sentence. But one thing I can say about her is that she really, really cares about the clients that she sees. And she sees a lot of clients who've had car accidents and, mishaps of that nature. Well, she, my dear, is your winner today.
Okay.
And so, Leslie, I'm going to invite you to go ahead and connect with Lori to claim your prize. I will connect you both inside of the Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group. Any last words, Lori, before we go? If people want to get in touch with you, if people want to connect with you to learn more about what you do, people want to connect with you to talk more about your offer, how can they do that?
Yeah, the best way right now is through my email, which is lori@inspiregreatnesscoaching.com. Also encourage everyone to register for the summit if they haven't already. I look forward to seeing everyone there, and especially anyone who's connecting virtually for the summit. We'll have some fun online.
Yeah, so, one of the things that I want to tell everybody is that coming up on October 17th and 18th is our Ladies Power Lunch Fall Summit. So for those of you who are catching this on the replay, or you're watching on our YouTube channel, or you're catching this on our podcast, Ladies Power Lunch has a summit every spring and every fall. It's always the third Monday and Tuesday of March and third Monday and Tuesday of October. So come October 17th and 18th, we're going to be having our summit. Now, on the 17th, you can either join us live in person or you can join us virtually. And you will be taken care of on the virtual side by none other than the wonderful, the amazing Lori Raggio. Lori's
Yeah.
going to be our host on the virtual side. She will be the one who will be there to support us, to help us with any questions or concerns. She'll be taking care of you in the chat. She will be a fountain of information and support for you on the virtual side. So if you have to attend virtually, don't feel like you're going to be missing out in any way, because one of the things that I know for sure about our summits is that the energy in the room, whether it's in person or virtual, is electric. It doesn't matter. We always, always, always have an amazing time, no matter where we assemble. Our Avengers, we have fun no matter where we are. So the theme for our upcoming summit is Ignite Your Leadership. And alongside our summit, we will be launching an anthology called, you guessed it, Ignite Your Leadership. And it's an anthology of stories from our Ladies Power Lunch members. They're sharing their stories of exactly how they've been able to change their mindset as far as leadership goes. They're going to be sharing their stories about how they've been able to overcome all sorts of obstacles in order to step into their leadership. They're going to be sharing their stories about how they've been able to infuse collaborative leadership into their businesses, into their practices, into their all different kinds of areas of their lives. And they're sharing in this anthology stories about how quantum leadership actually helps us to raise the vibration of the planet so that we can make this world a much better place. And that's pretty much all that we're going to be talking about on the summit, because this very same people who are our authors on our Ignite Your Leadership anthology, they are also some of our facilitators on our Ignite Your Leadership Summit. So you're going to get a chance to firsthand be able to have conversation with our best-selling authors right there at Summit, whether you're joining with us online or whether you're joining with us in person. Now, I am the kind of person who I don't like to have people talking at me. I don't learn well that way. And I don't like to go to events if I'm not going to network with people who I wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity to network with, or if I'm not going to learn something that I wouldn't otherwise have an opportunity to learn. And so these are the three things that are important to me. I don't want to be talked at, I want to learn stuff, and I want to network. And so because that's what's important for me, those are the three main points that we are going to be hitting on our summit. We're making sure that you're going to have a good time as far as the networking piece goes. We're going to make sure that you're going to have a good time as far as the learning piece goes. And we're going to make sure that you have a good time as far as connection, the heartfelt connections go. It's going to be a really, really, really good summit. And if you happen to be listening to this on our podcast or on our YouTube channel or on the replays in our Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group, after Summit has happened, don't worry. If you go to growsmarternotharder.com/ticket, you can still purchase the replays at that link. So you haven't missed out. It's still all available to you. So to get your ticket for Summit, just go to growsmarternotharder.com/ticket. lori.com/ticket. Because who wants to work harder? I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, you've left your 9 to 5 and you've turned it into a 24/7 as your own business. You don't have time to work harder. Unless you do, in which case we need to talk, because I don't. Lori and I were talking earlier. My husband, let me just give you guys a little behind the scenes here. My husband's been traveling all week. I have 2 small children, and I've got to tell you, this has been a challenging week. It's been challenging, everyone. It really has been. And so I don't think anybody really needs to work harder, but what would happen if we could all work a little bit smarter? What would happen if we're all here to support each other on the days when, you know what, my husband's not here and I need a little propping up? What would happen if I could send a text to Lori and say, hey, Lori, here's the information. And Lori could send a text back to me and say, hey, I see you, I understand, I get it, don't worry, I'll be there. And Lori gets me and Lori understands and it's no big deal. What would happen if we get each other and we understand each other in that way? What would happen if we don't have to work harder? What would happen if it was all ease and it was all flow and we were all there for each other and we were all working together in this collaborative leadership model instead of this top-down hierarchy that we have all become accustomed to? Feels a little bit better to me. So guys, come to Summit. I hope you can make it. If you don't make it, still go to growsmarternotharder.com/ticket. Get the replays, they're available to you. And I love you all. Thank you so much for hopping on today, Lori. I love spending time with you. Any way I can get it, I'll take it. And I'll see you.
I totally agree. Thank you.
I'll see you all on the next show. Bye, everyone.
Bye.